12 million tons. This is the weight of plastic that finds itself into the ocean every year. This weight is equivalent to 12 million SUVs, 6 million elephants, 48,000 great Buddhas in Nara. This weight of plastic is choking marine life, and it is turning the once beautiful ocean into a dumpster. 5th grade was when I first learned about the pressing problem of plastic pollution in the ocean. I was at school in Canada. My teacher then had started a new unit in social studies, and the first slide she projected on the screen was a dissected fish with plastic in its tissues. More pictures followed. I saw pictures of seals entangled in plastic ropes, pain in their eyes. I saw photos of whales dying on beaches, plastic bags flooding out of their gaping mouths. I saw images of turtles, plastic straws protruding from their nostrils, the pain palpable. These unblurred images of the ocean's most majestic creatures succumbing to human recklessness were burnt into my memory then as a 10-year-old. Now as a 15-year-old, this human recklessness has only grown worse. According to the Arizona Center for Biological Diversity, 40% of the ocean surface is already covered in plastic debris. It is estimated that by 2050, plastic will outweigh the fish in the ocean. And this plastic is not biodegradable. Waves and currents will grind it down to smaller pieces called microplastic. But this plastic will continue to float around in the ocean. It will be eaten by plastic, which will be eaten by fish, which will then be eaten by us. An article by Wendy Nicole, the founder of the San Jacinto Conservation Coalition, reveals that we consume an estimated 53,864 particles of microplastics through seafood every year. This is equivalent to 17 credit cards. This is the amount of plastic we are eating. Now, I have loved animals for as long as I can remember. Trips to zoos and aquariums were my favorite holiday activity, and movies with animal characters were my favorite things to watch over long summers. To the animal-loving 10-year-old I was, the horror of realizing that the environment for the animals wasn't at all like it was in those movies I loved watching was immense. It was heartbreaking to realize that plastic I was using was hurting the very things I loved the most. Fairness is also something I cherish. Thousands of fish, mammals, and other organisms in the ocean are dying. They are dying because of our actions. They are dying because of our ignorance. This is so unfair. We continue to agonize them just because they cannot stand up for themselves. Realizing this fills me with guilt and shame. These animals are essential to our survival. They provide us with food. They are part of our ecosystem. They create our environment. And without them, humans would cease to exist. A world where plastic pollution isn't a dire problem. A world where marine animals are protected. A world where they don't have to suffer as a consequence of irresponsible humans. This is the world I want to create in the future as a marine veterinarian. In 20 years, I see myself in the middle of the ocean on a boat, taking samples from different seas and comparing the amounts of microplastics in each area. I see myself extracting plastic-polluted tissues from the fish that have died from the toxicity of plastic and researching the effects of plastic ingestion. I see myself untangling the ropes for the seals and the whales and the turtles and healing the gashes and wounds caused by plastic. I can see myself doing these things because I am willing to devote my career to finding the way to save the troubled animals I grew up in awe of. Now, I can see myself doing these things for another vital reason. This experience will give me the expertise to raise awareness of the plastic pollution in the ocean through helping change the school curriculum in Japan. Let me explain. The Japanese government seeks experts' advice for subjects when creating school curriculums. My dream is to become the specialist advisor as a marine veterinarian specializing in plastic pollution, and to utilize my work as a marine veterinarian and my experience from my time at school in both Canada and Japan to urge schools to teach students about marine pollution more in depth, especially in Japan. A short column in the corner of the textbook, that was the bit of school where I got the closest to learning about plastic pollution at my high school in Japan. As the advisor, I want to give students an opportunity to acknowledge the horrifying state of the ocean through school education. The lack of awareness of plastic pollution in the ocean and the underestimated severity of this pervasive problem is the reason why pollution has gotten so far. Plastic bottles, plastic bags, plastic wrappers, these are all things we can find in our homes. Simple actions to use a cloth bag instead of a plastic one. These individual rules play a significant part in combating this far-stretched problem. I believe school is the perfect place to give students a reality check of the dreadful situation and leave a lasting impression just like it did for me. I have hope that there will one day be a utopian world for these marine creatures that are being tormented right now. But for that utopia to become a reality, we need to realize that the ocean is drowning in plastic. We need to realize that there is no one but ourselves to blame for this catastrophic reality. We need to turn our deafened ears to the cries of animals and start asking ourselves, what can I do to create a world where their voices are heard? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Hasegawa.